I never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. What is going on, Florida State family, Seminole Nation, in the 863 tribe? It is your boy POLK, a.k.a. A-Lo, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. And some big news is about to break here any minute now. At least that's the rumor that's been going around. 8 o'clock was supposed to be 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Central time. It was supposed to be when this big news was dropping. It ain't dropped yet. I know people are itching to see what exactly that news is going to be. I will say this. I had somebody reach out to me who I trust. And I won't give it away, but I will say the defense just got better. That is what I will say. The defense just got better. And with all of that, man, the portal continues to be the portal, guys. Got a lot to talk about when it comes to the portal. FSU is actually starting to get some names in there. So we'll talk about the players from Florida State that have decided to drop their name in the portal. And, we'll talk about them. This new collective, man. I want to talk about this new collective. This new collective is I'm excited for this one. You know me, I don't really get into these collectives, man. But this one kind of excites me. And I want to talk about this new collective. This new collective is linked to some of the returning players. I am not plugged. I just had somebody that decided to reach out to me and tell me something. But no, I'm not plugged. Don't get it twisted. So yeah, man, that's what we're gonna go over today or tonight, on Wednesday. Episodes big 70 of the Hangover. So thank y'all for tuning in. And like always, man, before we get started, let's not waste any more time. But before we do that, let's pay these bills. Hit my like button. Subscribe. Share the videos. Share the video. Let everybody know we are live. And hit my like button. Ring my doorbell. Hit my like button. Introduce yourself. That's how you do it. You introduce yourself. Before you come in here, you hit my like button. You ring my doorbell. That's how we pay these bills. And lastly, quick roll call before we get started into these topics. Excuse me if I keep refreshing my timeline because I'm ready to see what's going on, if it's going on. So that is where my attention's kind of at. So bear with me a little bit. Nothing still. We'll see though. I'm pretty sure y'all will know it when y'all will let me know it. But anyway, man, let's hit this roll call. Joe Johnson in the building. Priscilla Chestnut, Jonathan McIntosh, Gaming Wizard, Island Boy, Marvin Barnes, Nicholas Johns, Boxing Monster, member of the 863 Tribe, Peter Shields, member of the 863 Tribe, Loading, Matt Will, Kendrick Ross, member of the 863 Tribe, Stroking the Flame, Todd Pope, FSU Tony, member of the 863 Tribe, Nick, Tyler Hedden, member of the 863 Tribe, Joe Johnson, R. Davius, Vontae B., member of the 863 Tribe, Chad Kinsler, Serve 5, member of the 863 Tribe, Ray Fitty, Lewis P., Marcus Lewis, member 863 Tribe. That's what it is. Corey Hall in the building. Dustin Hill has finally arrived. Panther fan 13 in the building. Jamal M. VJ, member 863 Tribe. Todd Pope, let's get it. And 226 Tim, Rock Frazier. Zozuki, Rashad Gibson, Irv Wallace, First Class Media, Panama Jack. And I think that's it. We've hit them all. Again, don't forget to hit my like button. Now, where do we start? Well, let's start with the players that have hit the portal. And in the past, since the last time we have spoken, we've seen, what is the total number? Let me pull it up. I think are we at 6? Oh no, I think we're at 6. The last time we've spoken, Chambry Jackson has hit the portal. Jarrett Jackson has hit the portal. George Wilson, Sidney Williams, Amari Gaynor. Who am I missing, guys? That's just off the top of the head. Here, let me look it up. We're just going to go straight to Florida State. I feel like I'm missing one. All right, here we go. Full list of FSU players. Keyshawn Helton as well. So that would be 6. Amari Gaynor, Chambry Jackson, Rod Orr, that's 7. Keyshawn Helton, Sidney Wilson, and George Wilson. Sidney Williams and George Wilson got those. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's 6. Who am I missing? Because they only have 6 listed. 1, 2. Amari Gaynor. Right, Amari Gaynor, Chambry. Oh, they don't have, for whatever reason, they don't have Jackson up here. But that is 7. That is 7 FSU players in the portal. Let's get back over to the comments. And Sam McCall actually would. So the thing about Sam is Sam has not officially hit the portal yet. He is no longer on the FSU's roster, but Sam McCall has not officially hit the transfer portal. So that one's interesting. I don't know necessarily what's going on there, but if you check any of the any site, 247, which haven't been a fan of On3, but what On3 has done is they update their transfer stuff regularly, where 247 seems to wait 2 or 3 days before they update their transfer portal stuff. Maybe they fix that in the coming days. But you can check any one of those portal stuff, and Sam McCall is not officially entered the portal, right? So that's interesting. That is interesting. So with Sam, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, of course, I don't expect him back on the roster, but we'll see what happens with that. So technically 7, right? Now, for whatever reason, Jarrett Jackson's name isn't listed on On3's website. Let me try 247. Maybe 247 has Sam listed. We'll see real quick. School, Florida State. George Wilson, Sidney, Keyshawn, Rod. So they'd have Jarrett Jackson officially listed, but even 247 does not have Sam McCall officially listed. So like I said, don't know necessarily what's going on with Sam in that situation. But it's interesting to see. And I still don't see if any big announcement has been made, and it hasn't from what I've seen. Okay. So who do we talk about first, y'all? Let's talk about the guy that I think kind of hurts the most, per se, or the guy that I think most people didn't really want to lose, and that would be Sidney. I feel like of all the names we've mentioned, Sidney Williams was probably the one name that I think people thought could be in the rotation, right? That they could be that I don't know if anybody predicted Sydney to start, because for all intents and purposes, from what's being kind of reported or put out there, is Akeem Dent's coming back for his final year. Sydney ain't gonna start over not Chambry. I'm sorry. 38. Man, just that quick. Shaheem. 38's not gonna start over. 38. Sydney 23 is not going to start over 38. So the question was, he was the first safety off the board, off the bench, maybe. How did that work? I mean, Sydney's coming in with 4 years of eligibility into the transfer portal, which is, at least that's what it says here. I don't think that's totally accurate, but again, that's 247 for you. Not being totally accurate with what they are putting out there. I think Sydney's the one guy that people kind of like had the, people kind of feel some type of way about, if I had to guess, and I kind of get it. At the same time, I think the emergence of Shaheem was able to soften the blow. You feel me? It was able to soften the blow. So I don't know. I believe in the plan. So I do believe that they have guys in line to take, or at least be a part of the rotation, whether that's the portal. If you look at FSU's recruiting, they already got 3 DBs recruited. Probably, if I had to guess, 2 of the 3 guys, that's Rawls, Quindarius Jones, and Kirkland. I would say 2 of those 3 guys are probably safeties. Right? My guess is that they're gonna have those guys play all areas and see where they fit. But I think Sydney was the guy that I think most Florida State fans were like, okay, we probably want to at least keep him on for depth purposes. Tyler says Sydney feels like he could be a guy. Wouldn't shock me if he went to another Power 5 school. The next guy on that list for me, the only guy on that list, now Sydney was a bit of a surprise, I guess you could say. Even though when you kind of look at the room, I mean, remember, if you watch the rotations by the end of the year, they were bringing Shaheem off the bench. They were bringing Jaquez off the bench. Sydney wasn't really in the 4-man rotation at safety. And so the next guy that I would say is a little bit surprising as well would be Amari Gaynor. Only because Gaynor was an FSU legacy. His dad went to Florida State. You just felt like Gaynor was never going to leave. However, this is one of those things. Sydney was never moved to backer. Sydney was always safety. Gant's the one that was moved to backer. And even if you say, well, Sydney was moved to linebacker, which was never officially moved to backer, he wasn't getting in the rotation there anyway. So either way, no matter what position you try to put him at, he wasn't getting any burn. Gaynor was the guy that I think maybe hitting the portal out of all of these guys. Him and Sydney. Gaynor's another guy that I think works best for him. Gaynor just didn't fit and never fit what this defense wanted to be. They never had a spot for this guy. They tried to move him to backer, like a traditional backer. Didn't work. So he was always kind of that 3-4 edge rusher, and we just don't have that in this defense. And so at what point, I think it was at a point where did Gaynor just want to stick around it, or did Gaynor actually want to be used in an effective way? And I think this was a good move for Amari Gaynor when it's all said and done. Maybe he can go and find a program that's going to use him to his skill set. And unfortunately, man, it was never this one. They just could never figure out what to do with Gainer, right? They could just never figure out what to do with them. Um, so it was just hard, man. Um, yeah, I did see that. I saw that the West Virginia coach came to visit Amari Gainer. So, but the thing is, who took that job? Or did their coach get fired? I don't know. I don't know what's going on at West Virginia. But if West Virginia is the fit for him, I wish all the luck to both of these guys. First of all, let me say I wish all the luck to everybody that's hit the portal. I said this when Sam McCall was a rumor to first hit. We shouldn't be. There should be no hard feelings in this for a few reasons. One, nobody that has hit the portal as of yet, in my opinion, has been a bad player or a cancerous player or anything like that, right? So there's no reason to wish them ill, no reason to be upset. Second of all, this is just a natural progression of what college football has become. Expect this every year as the portal continues to be what the portal is. Monday, 1,000 football players entered the portal. 1,000. So for the people that keep saying you can't build a team out of this, 1,000 experienced college football players from all across the country hit the portal on Monday. The notion that you can't build out of this is wrong. It's ridiculous. You absolutely can. As this continues to be a thing, what do? The healthy teams are going to have to, you're just going to have to rotate players out. It's just going to be a natural thing where come the off season, those project guys that you took, which we're going to talk about here with some of the guys that we let go, they're going to be not only recruited over, but you can get a guy that's ready to play, and I don't have to project no more. I can go to the portal, and out of the 1,000 some odd players, find a guy who's more along than, and is going to give me, guess what, the same amount of eligibility. I still think there's enough college football out there for. I don't. So I don't agree with this wholeheartedly, though. I understand where people that say this are coming from. I don't think that the high school kids are in trouble. But I do think the road to get to where they want to go now is through the portal. So of course the elite guys are still going to get recruited, but you're just going to have more Jared Verse stories now. You're just going to have more Jared Verse stories. You're going to have more guys going to Albany, going to these smaller schools, these JUCOs, these smaller colleges, and they're going to show that they're just better, and then they're going to hit the portal and still get to where ultimately they probably would have ended up anyway. I just think the road to it is I still think the road to where they want to be might be longer, but I don't necessarily think they're out of luck or in trouble. You're just going to have more Jared Verse stories. Just my opinion on that one. But yeah, man, like I think Gainer will find a spot. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. It's not a good time, and that's the thing. And as as let's talk about it. We go to some of the other guys on the list. Um, well, let's go with Keyshawn before we go to some of the other guys. Keyshawn's a guy who we didn't see him play all year. The writing was on the wall. It surprised me a little bit that he hit the portal because he was listed as a redshirt senior. So my guess is he's a grad transfer, and I guess he wants to have one more shot to prove himself at the collegiate level. I'm not so. I could see. I could see Gainer. I could see Helton ending up at I don't know, at FAU or something. I don't want to completely write him off, but you saw he had no. Gainer didn't see the not Gainer, man. Keyshawn Helton didn't see the field one time this year, right? So yeah, shout out to Keyshawn though. He was a Knoll through and through, and I know everybody will be rooting for Keyshawn going forward. We just have recruited over the likes of a Keyshawn Helton, and I still think one more receiver leaves because I still think we're recruiting over maybe some of these other guys. Wouldn't shock me if one more guy decides to leave. So Keyshawn being out of the loop isn't surprising to me, but I think we all wish Keyshawn the best. Tyler says they got to go to college somewhere. I highly doubt you see many more 20 because you don't need to now. You don't really you don't need to. You don't need to recruit 30 high schoolers. If you're Bama, Georgia, whoever, recruit a solid 20 guys out of high school. The elite, the best guys you can pick, where you don't have to take a stab at and then you already know what's going to hit the portal. Like it's just the way the game has changed. Again, I think what hurts the college player is that big time Power 5 program, a Florida State per se, taking a chance on a DeMarco Ward or I don't know, somebody of that caliber where they don't have to, as this thing continues to grow. Still no word on this announcement. I think we were all bamboozled, but it wouldn't be the first time we were bamboozled. So just like with the Brock Glenn situation, right? We just all got bamboozled. Let's talk about another guy who saw some snaps who we haven't had a chance to talk about, and that's Jarrett Jackson. I think this one might surprise some people as well because he gave you solid rotation minutes early in the year. But remember, we talked about it. I would say by like the Miami game and on, we started. Mic check, mic check. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened. It just stopped. I don't know what happened. Let me know if it goes out again. It shouldn't, but I don't know. I don't know what happened right there. But I saw everybody saying that the announcement was made and that Jackson finally made his announcement, which again, like I said, I knew the defense was about to get better. I'm just waiting on the announcement. And there it is. Miami transfer defensive tackle Daryl Jackson commits to Florida State via Instagram post. So that was the announcement. That's what I was told. I just didn't want to drop it. And so there it is. There it is. We were talking about Jarrett Jackson. And we were talking about him not getting the playing time down down the stretch. And we were wondering, like, what's going on? Joshua Farmer's getting all those reps. Man, I was sounding that bad. He really was. Like, we literally just picked up Miami's best defensive lineman. We literally just picked up the man's best defensive lineman. Right, but we talked about Jackson not getting the playing time. Jarrett Jackson, that is, not getting the playing time down the stretch. And we were wondering, like, what's going on? Well, I think you kind of see he just got passed up on the depth chart. And like we were wondering, I remember us having these conversations. We were wondering, is he injured? What's going on there? Hold on. I dropped my usual tweet here. Hold on. But we were wondering, and it comes to find out that Jackson is hitting the transfer portal. Yeah, they don't believe that. Any Miami fan knows good and damn well that he was their best and most consistent defensive lineman. If they tell you anything different, they're lying. They are now lying. Thank you, Chad. Hit the like button. If they say anything different, they are lying. He was definitely their best interior guy. I think he has 2. Not too sure. I think he has 2. So that was the big news, man. Jackson is Daryl Jackson. And if you remember, we recruited him last year. One of the reasons why I believe that we didn't get him last year is because I think he wanted to be a starter. And he went to Miami and was the starter right off the bat. Where if he would have came here, he was playing behind the 2 guys that we already had. And that was one of the things that I believe. He has 3 years left. Okay, he has 3. And that was one of the things that I believe was one of the reasons he went to Miami. I don't even think it matters. If you're an elite kid, you can still play the game. The problem. Taylor has a higher upside, you would argue, being the former 5-star. Taylor had games where he was a no-show, i.e. Florida State. Go watch the tape. Daryl Jackson actually played good against us. Taylor was a no-show. Again, Jackson was the best and most consistent defensive lineman they had. He was. Taylor had flashes. Against Virginia, yeah, the man was all world. Against an actual football team, he couldn't make a play. Jackson showed up every game and did his thing. So, and I believe he already got his waiver. I think he already has his waiver. And Montre said he has the waiver. So I think he already has it. And I think it's a valid waiver, given his situation. If you don't know his situation, mother's sick. I don't like to speak too much on stuff like this that I really don't know. But allegedly, mom's sick, so he wants to be closer to home. One of the reasons, maybe the main reason, right, why he hit the transfer portal. Let's go to Chambry Jackson. This was a guy that I kind of called this one. I don't think this one's a shocker to anybody. This is a defensive end that they tried to turn into. Chambry Jackson came out of high school 6'3", 230. And I don't know what made them think that they could, throw 70 pounds on him. And, and get him to where he needed to be to move him inside. And so Chambry's in the portal. Again, not a shocker there, in my opinion. Just a project guy that a project guy that just never panned out. And once you start getting guys, hold on, guys. Let me send this message real quick. But hey, stop. Got to send this message out real quick, guys. My fault. All right, now let's do this. Chambry, man, just a guy that just couldn't fulfill the position. And then when you got guys like Tafasi come in, Ontavious Woody, and Daniel Lyons and Bishop Thomas, and now you got Jackson. Chambry wasn't going to get on the field. Makes all the sense in the world for him to hit the portal. Again, no shocker there when we talk about Chambry Jackson. From Chambry, we go to Rod Orr. Now, Rod's an interesting case. Former high school basketball player, but was 6'6", had the frame to potentially put on the weight. But again, he's another project guy, being that he wasn't he mainly was a basketball player. And I think what Rod is just a case of they're starting to recruit over. This O-line's in a very healthy, the healthy it's been in a decade. You could say this O-line is in a healthy spot. This O-line is and they're just at a point where Rod Orr got passed up by freshmen like Jalen Early and Julian Armella. Bless Harris is probably coming back, you would assume. I think FSU adds 2 or 3 guys out of the portal. Where was Rod gonna fit? You might see another guy hit the portal. You might see like a Lloyd Willis as well, given the fact that they gave Lloyd Willis so much opportunity last year to seize that job and he just couldn't do it. You can see, and guys, you guys know me, I'm a Lloyd Willis guy. But you can see Lloyd Willis maybe hit the portal. So again, Rod's another guy that I don't think is surprising. I don't think that's surprising. I don't think it's surprising. I would like to keep him for depth purposes, but I understand that these kids aren't, with the portal being what it is, these kids aren't willing to sit for 3 years to potentially see the field. Now, I would caution some of these young men. Shouldn't even call them kids. I should caution some of these young men. Don't hit the portal without a plan, Rod Orr and some of these other guys, right? Don't hit the portal without a plan. Now, I will say this about a lineman. Any team can take a 6'6", 300-pound player. I mean, Fam, he can go across the tracks, play for Fam. Rod Orr can. Or there's plenty of teams that will take his body type, right? There are plenty of people that will take. I think your skill players got to be more cautious when they hit the portal, though. But Rod Orr also hit the portal this week. We talked about Keyshawn. We talked about Sydney. And then George Wilson, finally. Another high school basketball player. This one is at DN, though. Had the frame. But what is this? I think we're going on his 3rd year, and the guy's still 215 pounds. Put it like this. Him and Patrick Payton, I believe, came in the same class on the same track. Patrick Payton also came out of high school 200 pounds soaking wet. One guy is 245 pounds, ACC Rookie of the Year, all freshman team, all of that stuff. The other guy is about to be recruited over by the likes of a Lamont Green Jr. and a Keldrick Falk, which is still a battle, by the way. If you're not paying attention to that Keldrick Falk situation, ultimately, I feel pretty good about Keldrick, but Auburn's not giving that up. But he's getting he's getting recruited over. They're gonna hit the portal. I mean, if there's one position Florida State is gonna knock out of the park when it comes to the portal, it's gonna be defensive end. So you can expect us to bring in at least one of those. Where does George Wilson fit? And that's not even counting who's on the roster. Like I said, you still got Byron Turner, you still got Aaron Hester, you still got Dante Anderson. Unfortunately for George, Virginia native, another guy that I think just wasn't going to see the field. Just wasn't going to see the field. Marco says 1,200 players in the portal. Hundreds of guys will wish they stay put. I agree with that, Marco. Wholeheartedly agree with that. There will be hundreds of guys. Wholeheartedly agree with that. Did McClain just flip? I know y'all lying. Hold on. Let me gotta check Twitter, guys. I know y'all lying. Oh, I know Chris the GOAT. I know Chris the GOAT. Hold on a second. I know damn well the Cuban savior, the greatest recruiter of all time. I know y'all lying. I think Saban just had to hit him with a reality check. Hold on, let me see. I don't see it, y'all. I don't see it. Am I lying? Y'all lying to me? Y'all got me excited for nothing because I don't see it on my feed. I don't see it on my feed, y'all. Somebody hit my inbox up. I need to see this. So before I laugh in Jerg's face. I don't see it. I'm looking. I don't see it. I don't see the flip. You guys lied to me. You guys got me excited for no reason. I do see some people alluding to it, but I want to see an official announcement. He's lying. Okay, they playing. See, man, y'all got me excited, make me look crazy. Let me stop listening to y'all. I know he was visiting. I damn sure knew he was visiting. But we'll see what happens. But breaking news did actually just happen. Reuben Owens, former Louisville running back, 5-star running back. He's either the number 1 or number 2 running back along with Cedric Baxter. He just committed to Texas A&M. I don't know why he would do such a thing, but Texas A&M surely could use him. He just committed to A&M, if you care about that. Actually, that's a good question. I will be going. Tickets already booked. So if you're going to be in Orlando, hit me up. I'll be there. I will be there. 21X is a solid question. What's up, Polk? Who's transferring next year? Well, that's a tough one to answer. Next year? Don't know. If you mean this year, I don't think anybody transferred out of the quarterback room this year. I do think next year will be the make or break year, though. Travis will leave, and you'll have Duffy, Brock, Luke, and Tate. I'm sure somebody would leave out of that room by then. Absolutely. So those are the players that FSU has had hit the portal. If you wanted to project any future Florida State players to hit the portal, you still got the likes of Demore Tate, Travis J, some more offensive linemen. I don't know if we're done there. Jackson West is another name that when you talk about tight end room, and Florida State might be looking to add 2 tight ends from the portal. I think they should add 1 for sure. I think 2 is a little bit doing too much, but that's just my opinion. There's going to be more names in the coming days of Florida State players hitting the portal. I think it's a solid sign compared to your rivals. I want you to look at Florida. I want you to look at Miami and look at the rate at which their players are hitting the portal. I think both of those schools are like almost at 20 at this point. And Florida State hasn't, they're definitely over 10. FSU hasn't hit double digits yet because we're in a position where the roster is strong. The roster is healthy, or should I say? Strong is not the right word, but the roster is healthy enough that now you can start to cycle out those players that you took a flyer on. You know, you took a flyer on some guys. If they hit, great. If they didn't, in previous years, this will set you back, or it could set you back. Now you can cycle them out, bring in guys at the same positions who's further along in their development. This is the norm in college football nowadays. This is what every college is going to do. They're going to cycle out players that didn't quite fit the bill and bring in guys that can. And we're no different, and we're just doing that. I know sometimes we get attached to some guys, and some of these guys become our favorite players, like a Keyshawn Helton. Like you like the young man, his personality or whatever. But understand that's just the way the nature of the beast is. And I think when it's all said and done, FSU will have, what are we at? 7 officially, 8 if you count McCall. But again, McCall has not officially hit the portal. Don't know what's going on there. I think FSU finishes with around 12 to 15 guys. 15 might be pushing it. 12 seems like the sweet spot to me. So I don't know you guys' thoughts on that. Yeah, Montre got me excited for nothing. For no reason. I know they're interested in the guy at a UCF for sure. I definitely think they hit 1 or 2, maybe 2. 1 for sure, right? We know 1 for sure. 2 wouldn't be bad. Look at the type of players hitting the portal too. Their starters are hitting while our backup and scout team can. Yeah, that's a fact. You know, again, Miami can say what they want. I won't even troll them about Daryl Jackson because I understand that those are that's a different set of circumstances as to why he hit the portal, and I can understand that and not troll about that. But don't. Jalen Knighton was probably the most talented back they had in the backfield. He gone. You know, Avonte Williams was another one. If you listen to Miami fans, he was the safety with the highest upside, most talented guy. He gone. You have Romello Brinson, another big time receiver who had all this potential. He's gone, and Keyshawn Smith, he's gone, and that's just all in Miami. You know, I ain't even keeping track of all the Florida guys in the portal. They've had 2 quarterbacks at the portal. Couple running backs hit the portal. I mean, it's crazy. So my opinion on the TVD and Jake Garcia situation is one of those 3 quarterbacks, your Curry, TVD, and Jake, when it's all said and done, is going to hit the portal. I know TVD and Jake both announced they were coming back, but I believe they're just waiting for spring. Because out of those 3, all 3 of those guys played this year, right? Good luck telling one of them they have to be the 3rd string guy. First of all, there's no way TVD comes back to sit the bench. How do you go from Heisman hopeful and first round hopeful to backup? Not going to happen. So I expect TVD to be their starter next year. The question is Jake or Ja'Curry going to be the 2nd string? Good luck telling either one of those guys. Because if I'm Ja'Curry, you can't convince me I'm second to Jake Garcia when in real live action, I kind of outplayed him. And if I'm Jake, I'm not going to sit behind a sophomore when he'll be a red shirt sophomore. Basically, he'll have more time in college, and you're asking him to sit behind the guy that's the same eligibility as him. One of those 3 will hit the portal. Are there Are there any crystal balls out? Some people are saying I think it's an Auburn Miami battle. Person, I don't think Florida State's in this one as much as people want to pretend. I'd be shocked. Bane's not coming here. I'm gonna tell you the same thing about Bane that I told you about Wesley Besant last year. They ain't coming here. The main one out of the portal that I've been paying attention to is this offensive tackle, redshirt sophomore out of UTEP. Pay attention to him. I mean, for optics wise, it'd be good, Blake. But to be honest, I mean, you're playing a 6-6 Oklahoma team that's having players hit the portal and opt out. Honestly, we should blow these boys. Like, honestly, the Oklahoma Florida State game, we shouldn't really even be close. The inmate portal. FSU has 6 running backs currently. If you're Norvell, what's your pitch to Cedric Baxter? That 3 of the 6 played. As a matter of fact, if we go to the stats, 3 of the 6 accounted for over 500 yards of offense each, not just total. That's your pitch. I'm finna bring it up just so we on the same page, so y'all know what I'm talking about. Your pitch is that Trey Benson accounted for 965 yards just rushing. Trayshawn Ward accounted for 547 yards just rushing. And Lawrence Toafili accounted for 447 yards. And we know Toafili had almost 300 yards receiving. So Toafili accounted for almost 700 yards of offense. Trey Benson accounted for over 1,000 yards of total offense. Trayshawn Ward only had 19 receiving yards. That's your pitch. 3 running backs in the same offense in the same year all accounted for over 500 yards of total offense each. One accounted for over 1,000. One got about 700 and one about 600. Pretty damn good pitch to me. He was their best D lineman. I don't know if I would call him their best defensive player. I think that belongs to Kitchens, that safety. But he's definitely their best defensive lineman. Definitely their best defensive lineman. Zero. Let's see. What did we talk about next? So we hit all the portal guys, key players. Jordan Travis announced his return this week, folks. Kalen DeLoach. Those are the 2 big ones, I think, so far that have announced their returns. Kalen DeLoach and Jordan Travis have both announced they are returning, along with Jerrion Jones also announcing. Now, I'll say this about Jerrion. You start the year how you finish this year, then I'm all for it, Jerrion. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But there's another one, wasn't there? Who am I forgetting? I feel like there's one more guy that announced their return. Travis did. Micah Pittman also announced his return. So I don't think anybody thought Michael was going anywhere anyway, but he was able to have his moment and announce his return. But Deloach and Deloach and Travis, those are the big guys that announced their returns. Oh yes, and Ronaldo Green also said he's running it back. I forgot, which is a good thing too. Ronaldo Green was your best corner this year, so far, man, so good. FSU's announcing getting all these guys back. We need to get Bethune back. I think Lovett's gone, but Verse is still a strong possibility in my opinion. And the word on the street is that Robert Scott is probably going to come back as well. But we'll see what happens with that. If Robert Scott comes back, I'm really loving this offensive line. Really loving this offensive line. I think it depends on Baxter's mentality. If he doesn't want any comp, he'll go elsewhere. Well, here's the thing. Texas also has another 4-star running back committed. So I don't like when we say kids don't want comp. I don't necessarily think it has a competition thing. If FSU can't get him to have another visit by the time it's over, then he's going to stay at Texas. I agree on the comment on Jarian. I actually thought he was going to transfer. Hey, if he finishes the year if he starts the year how he finishes, he'll be okay. He'll be okay. McCall isn't in the portal because of grades. That's the rumor, but it does make it. I mean, if that's the rumor, it makes sense as to why he hasn't officially hit the portal yet. Hey, that's you gotta be a student athlete, right? I mean, hey. Yes, we're tracking. We are tracking. He does. Fable has eligibility left. I just don't think he uses it. I expect us to land this one. I expect us to get Edwin Joseph. I think they like him at corner. He's an athlete. I think they like him at corner. POLK, Keldrick Falk checked in at Alabama Mississippi All-Star game. He's a big boy. Yes, we knew that though. We knew Keldrick is the real deal. But with all of these announcements, one thing was the constant. The new collective, the Battles End Collective, Florida State's new collective that is, I mean, I shared the message on my community. I'll read it for you guys again, just so you guys can hear it. For those that maybe didn't check. Interesting wording here, and I love every minute of it. In time, this is from the Battles End, FSU's brand new collective, NIL Collective, who have already secured NIL deals for those players that we mentioned that are all returning. They all are linked to the Battles End, and it says, in time, there will be a way for all to be involved with this platform, regardless of the size of contribution. In the meantime, we don't need money. For that, I don't even have to read anymore. You tell me a new collective starting and you ain't asking for donations? And the word on the street is major investors are linked to this collective? Well, when you say you don't need money, that speaks for itself, in my opinion. How much you think they had to pay Jordan Travis to come back? I don't know. How much you think they had to pay to get Kalen DeLoach to come back? He probably would have got a little bit of NFL buzz. I don't know. We don't need money. We ask only that you judge us by the work that we do, and you can make a decision as to if this is a collective you want to support. Sign me up right now, damn it. When you tell me you don't need my money and you plan on putting the work before you come asking for donations, I don't know what more needs to be said, y'all. I don't know how y'all feel about this. Bam, I love it. Like you said, I love how they drop their nuts on the table. We don't need your money. We just about to go to work, and you can be the judge of what we're doing. I love it. I love it. And we've talked all this year about FSU and NIL, and look, I love it. And, I'm going to throw another jab just because this is what I do. Actually, it's not, but I'm going to do it tonight. Every major booster or whatever ain't going to be a Ruiz type, guys. It's been rumored for a while that FSU has their own Ruiz type or types. Might be more than one person. They just ain't on the forefront. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to tweet you guys and argue with guys on Twitter like Ruiz does. More power to Ruiz. He can do what he wants to do. But that's not how everybody moves. You got some guys here that's putting their money where their mouth is. They just dropped a new collective. They said, we don't need anything from you. Watch what we do when you be the judge. We about to get things started. They started last night with a bang. And the rumor is they're not done yet, and I don't expect them to be done anytime soon. If you're a Florida State fan, and all this talk about, I mean, that's the thing is you can't tell people that. When I kept telling people y'all got to stop blaming NIL and y'all got to stop, it was always the only time Texas only doing this because, and maybe there's some truth to that. But every time we lost a recruiting battle, it was always NIL, which wasn't the truth. We just didn't want to be patient. We just didn't want to let things come to fruition. Here we are now. If you're a Florida State fan, you should be excited. You should be excited about this. You still have your Rising Spears, and you still have other NIL collectives that are doing a good job. Don't get me wrong. But you have one that sounds like they are a little bit more high-end dollars than the others. And that's not a knock to any one of them. But again, when I hear wording of, I don't need your money, we just about to go to work. Say no more. Say no more. What's up, Florida State love? Has Fitz hit the portal yet? No, let's give Tyler that. Tyler said they dropped their nines. I was taking his. That's what Tyler said. They dropped their nines. I was just quoting Tyler. Appreciate you, Brandon. I'm the voice of the voiceless. Yeah, and that exactly, man. Tyler's right on top of it, man. He's stealing my thunder, so to speak. But they set out a clear path. They said, right now we're going to focus on retention. This is what this new collective said. We're focusing on bringing back, because what you have is a chance for FSU if they bring back majority of this team. This could be the team that you're already 9-3 going on 10-3. So you're already there. Next year's team, Ingram says I think it says Ingram's the CEO. So I don't know what Ingram dope boy and pushing money out there. But I think he's the CEO of this thing, which is interesting. But no, they're focused on retaining what we have. And then I'm assuming they're gonna see what we do. Don't expect a lot of portal announcements early in this thing, guys. Don't expect if you're Florida State, if you're any of these schools, there's no reason to rush out there and try to get all the portal guys right now, because the playoffs still need to be played. And if you're holding out to see what players from Georgia, what players from Ohio State, and maybe Michigan, maybe not so much TCU. I don't think that's a portal hotspot. But those other three programs, if you're waiting to see who drops off of those schools and hit the portal, that's probably what you're waiting on. Specifically Georgia and Ohio State, probably. There's no rush to hit the portal right now. No rush. I think when it came to Daryl Jackson, he just wanted to get it done because, of course, we know the circumstances in which and the reason why he's hitting the portal, right? We understand that. So for him, it was probably just let's get it done. Let's not waste any more time. I'm going home or to be close to home. But some of these other battles, these kids are gonna vet the process. I mean, if you're not paying attention, I think Bama's like whole O line hit the portal, y'all. Do I think Bama loses their whole No, I think you have a lot of guys that's hitting the portal. They want to see what a team is willing to pay. They want to see what they're worth. They want to go out there, and I think that's what this Bama. That's personally what I think the Bama O line is doing. I don't think they all leave. I wouldn't be surprised if majority, like 4 of them. I think like 4 or 5 have hit. Like 4 out of 5. I wouldn't be surprised if they withdrew their name eventually. But I think they want to test the market. They want to see if a team is willing to give them $800K for a lineman. Sounds ridiculous, right? But I think that's what they're doing. So because of things like that, no need to rush out there and try to outbid somebody for a player, and you might be able to get another player down the line who's not looking for that, right? Who's not acting like that. So this portal thing, man, is going to be interesting. Here's a dream. Verse and Fable come back and start next to DJ and Pat. Shout out to I don't think Fable comes back, but I'll take DJ and Farmer. I'll take DJ and we probably get Hunter from the JUCO ranks. I'll take DJ and Tafasi. Like, hey, there's a lot of mixes there. That's how you keep it moving in the right direction with the football team. And I think all the guys come back, Mr. Verse. We can speak. Y'all want to try to speak that one into existence? Why is Verse taking so long to announce his decision? Do you really think he's debating on coming back? He's NFL bound. Everyone knows that. Well, you also want to get a feel for where teams are kind of grading you out, right? How are they ranking you? Because the consensus is, that he's an NFL guy, but the consensus, regardless of what you may have heard or seen from one source, the consensus isn't that Verse is a first round pick. I seen one mock that Verse was all the way down to number 42, which is kind of where I actually think he legitimately is. I think Verse has a lot of room and a lot of more football to learn. Athletically, he's probably top 20 player in the draft. Athletically, maybe. Even then, I'm like, okay. Technique-wise, he can learn a whole lot. I think if you're Verse, you're testing the water. You're trying to see where am I really being projected at, and by that you got to talk to maybe a few different schools, get a few different fields out there. Also, you're going to give Florida State a chance to see what kind of NIL can you get me to do. What kind of insurance policy, if you're Jared Verse, can you get me if you're this new collective? If I get hurt, what do I get on the back end to protect me if I do decide to come? There's a lot of stuff that Jared Verse has to work out. Be patient with it. It is. The portal closes at certain times. Kids can always hit it. I don't know the direct answer to that, Joe. Somebody might, but I'm not too sure. Appreciate that, VJ. 45 days. I think if you're answering that portal thing, that might be your answer. You talking about Jaheim Bell? He the real deal as far as what he do. He is a flex. I know who Jaheim is. Haven't talked to him. I know FSU's targeting him and the 6'7" kid. I forget his name though. Starts with a K if I'm not mistaken. DJ and Hall. Farmer just got a Battles End deal. He did? Oh, see, we just talked Farmer up. So Battles End just announced. I know they said they were going to announce some more deals this evening. So Farmer they announced Jordan Travis earlier, but I don't feel like that was too much of a surprise. But Farmer getting one, that's dope for sure. That's definitely dope. Some good stuff there. Next year, JT is in the hunt for the Heisman. Not a topic for another show, but he'll start off as a Heisman contender. If Verse comes back, I would still add another elite in. Why not? Tara, how you doing? Langston said they canceled Hunter's visit and there's no longer an interest in him, and indicating Fabo could be coming back. Hey, if Langston said it, then I guess there's no more interest in Hunter for whatever reason. So we might not be getting that one. Polk, that UTEP O lineman you was talking about is coming in on an official visit this weekend. Atkins, get that one done because I want that. I want that one. Versus going pro. Versus will shoot up the boards after the combine. Nah, I don't know. Remember, Jermaine Johnson was projected top 15, top 10 too. And this year, so I'll talk a little bit about Verse and just the way the NFL draft usually works. Last year, the focus was on DN. It was a deep DN class, right? So what do you think the focus on this year's draft is going to be? You got some it's going to be quarterbacks and what? If you're going to draft quarterbacks, what are you going to draft on par with quarterbacks? Because last year they went heavy wide receiver as well. This year's going to be a heavy O-line. They're going to be looking at O-lineman. All those DNs they drafted last year, teams are now going to look to try to learn how to block them this year. I don't think there's a heavy demand for a Jarrett Verse as much as y'all think there is. I don't think there is. I don't think there's a heavy demand for Jarrett Verse this year. A lot of teams just drafted franchise edge rushers last year. Now people are going to be looking to block them. Why would I waste a top pick on Verse when Verse is going to be there in the second round? It's just the way the draft works. But it cycles back. So guess what happens next year? Next year, people are going to be looking to rush the quarterback again and get them weapons. This is the way the NFL draft works if you watch it. Apparently no Derek Hunter, man. That's the first I heard about that, but I don't watch War Chant that often, so that kind of makes sense for me. So if Langston said it, I don't really watch War Chant. So, but I like Langston. He just sometimes he puts out wrong stuff. FSU is working on NIL deal for Verse to make it worth coming back. Stay tuned. I think Fabo comes back, so no Hunter, and they canceled his visit. So yeah, there's legit truth to that. They canceled his visit. Oh, wow. They want Jaheim Bell and Kyle Morlock. Morlock, that's his name. Yeah, Kyle Morlock. That would be a real good if they get both. I really don't think they need to take both. I'm pretty give me one or the other. Again, I don't know why we need to add 55 tight ends to a roster. And this is just my opinion. I know people are going to have a different opinion. Give me one or the other. You already have Biscuit. You claim you love Brian Courtney, and Jabril Powers has a lot of potential. What are they on scholarship for? Give me a guy that pairs with Biscuit fairly well, and give me Courtney and Jabril. I mean, we keep taking all these tight ends. There's not enough footballs for the tight ends and the receivers and the running backs. And people say Bell can play receiver. Yeah, we kind of loaded at that position too. So again, give me one or the other. Unless, which I expect Jackson West to maybe be out of here, and unless now if you move Brian Courtney to linebacker, which has been a rumor, take it with a whole huge grain of salt because I have no idea of verifying that. If you move Courtney to backer, then I'm for it. But again, I don't need six tight ends in the room, bro. Yeah, Cam's gone. I don't need 6 tight ends in the room. Give me one or the other, and let's call it a day. Everybody wants both. I think you got to be smart with how you build your roster and the message you send to some of these. If that's the case, why is Brian Courtney on scholarship? Why is Jabril Powers on scholarship? Still got to develop what we got. You got to be able to utilize what you got. Yeah, I hear you. Now, if we go watch last year's team, did we use anybody in that role? So the answer to that would probably be no. We didn't use anybody in a H-back role. What makes you think all of a sudden that's a wrinkle we add to the offense? It may be, don't get me wrong, but give me one or the other. If that's the case, yeah, get Bell out there and maybe you can flex him out a little bit, but I want one or the other. And from this offense that I've watched, I don't know if Bell fits it, because you could have used, and I understand that he got hurt at a certain point, but if you value Bell that much, you got a guy that's built just like him in Joshua Burrell, and we never used him. You had Wyatt Rector built similarly. You never used him. Now, I'm not saying Wyatt Rector is the player that Bell is. It doesn't seem to me Bell necessarily fits the offense. Could be wrong, but it's not like we didn't have players with Bell's same type of body type and maybe skill set, and we didn't use them in that manner. Preston Daniels is a 6'4" blocker who they would put a pass out there. Preston Daniels didn't really do that. I don't know. And they use DJ Lundy as a straight up traditional fullback. Again, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Again, give me one or the other. You guys can't really convince me that we need both, though. Sorry, you're not going to convince me that we need both. Unless you're telling me we have a couple more tight ends leaving the room, then okay, give me both and we'll figure that out. That's fine. But, I mean, maybe. Jamie Robinson? No, Jamie Robinson's not coming back. He's 2 years in a row, all first team ACC. I think Jamie probably falls. Jamie's probably second, third round, at latest fourth round guy. I don't think he's a first round guy. Mid to late second round guy on back for Jamie, in my opinion. Yeah, Cam McDonald. This is his last year, so Cam won't be here. I gotta watch his offense in Memphis. I mean, I have watched his offense in Memphis. I understand what they do. I don't think we need two tight ends, guys. I'm sorry, you're not gonna convince me that we need two tight ends. Give me two more offensive linemen if that's the case. Give me two more defensive ends. How about two more linebackers? How about two more DB? I can think of a load of positions that I would have two more than two more tight ends. I'm sorry, y'all just not going to convince me that we need two tight ends. Yeah. What do you want? Give me two more kickers. Again, there's just a load of other positions that I think we could use. All of a sudden, we want to use two more tight ends. Develop Marcus and Douglas and these other guys. That's what you brought them here for. Let's get it done. What do you think about Charles Kelly taking the DC job at Colorado? Good for him. I don't know if it's a good fit. We had the privilege of watching a Charles Kelly defense, and now he's going to a pass-happy conference in the Pac-12. Good luck. So I'll say that. Should be able to recruit, though. Should be able to help on that recruiting trail. I'm just saying, bro. That we get enamored with certain names in the portal, and again, I get it. Like, these good players hit the portal, and we want them, but I'm looking at the roster as a whole and what you already have, I mean, you bring in 2 tight ends, fine, but that tells me at this point, you bring in 2 tight ends, that pretty much tells me you can't evaluate the tight end position at all at this point. You can't. Because every player that you've recruited at that position has been buns and you've given up on. So, yeah. And he's probably projected the same this year, bro. I don't think he increased his stock that much. Did they announce that? I think Willie's going to be like a position coach. I don't think he's going to be OC. Matter of fact, I know he's not going to be OC. They hired they hired who they hired. They hired like Tulane or Tulsa, something like that. I forget who they hired. Let's let Powers, Courtney. That's what I think, Terrence. Let the tight ends we have figure it out. And yes, actually, definitely bring in a guy for that room. I have no problem bringing in one guy, but not 2. Okay, so if you think that's fine, like if you think Bell complements Douglas better, I understand that. I'm not even knocking that, right? Not knocking that at all. Sean Lewis from Toledo. Yeah, there you go. I guess. Is that what we're doing? Right. What is Burrell? That's the guy that I say make him the flex guy that everybody wants. You know? Because Burrell don't really have a position right now. He ain't a running back, he ain't a receiver. So I don't know. I don't know where we're at. I think Trace stays. I thought we were over projects. Are we? If they're still on the roster, are they a project? I'm assuming you're talking about the tight ends. If they're still on the roster, are they a project? If they're projects, then get them off the roster. If you keep them on the roster, then they're not projects, in my opinion. Use them, utilize them, develop them. He did just have a surgery. Yeah, and Demore Tate did have surgery too. Be completely honest. How do you think Deion is going to do? And is he going to be Dabo, more recruiter than coach? I said it when it became official. I'm excited to see what happens with that. I'm excited to see Deion. Again, I think it's a soft landing spot for him. Not a lot of defense is played in that conference. He goes to a conference that he's going to be able to let his son showcase his skill set, whatever that skill set may be. We'll find out in the Pac-12. They're going to pass the ball. They're going to put up numbers. I think it'd be fun for him in that, in the Pac-12. I know Colorado isn't, there's going to be work to do in terms of actually winning football games. But it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to go the Colorado route. That people were like, he should have took the Auburn job. No, shouldn't have. Auburn would have been. He wouldn't have succeeded. He wouldn't have succeeded. We should have been USF. Sounds good, and everybody's scared. Oh, he comes to Florida, he's going to kill it. Well, again, you still got to win football games. It sounds good at first, but Deion goes to USF. Is he really going to out-recruit Florida State, Miami, and Florida? Because I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Especially once he starts playing football games and USF is losing every week. Colorado, he can ease into that. He doesn't have to directly recruit against the big Florida schools. He can try to trickle in there and pluck a guy every now and then. I think he's going to mostly live in Texas. Not that many tight ends coming out this year in the NFL draft. Cam McDonald could easily be a third tight end coming off the board behind Georgia's and Notre Dame's. I think Prime will leave in 3. I mean, of course, Colorado's just another stepping stone. If you don't think that, then I don't know what to tell you. After what he said at JSU, you don't think Colorado's you think Colorado's the final destination? Heck no. We're going to find out. I'm not too high. Let me take that back. I don't want to say I'm not too high. I just don't know what he is. But I'm interested to see him play some Power 5 football. Again, I'm very excited to watch it. How I think he does is going to be interesting. I would say success. If Deion can win 8 games in year 3, 7 to 8 games in year 3, I think that's a success. Because I don't think he's going to win more than 4 or 5 games next year, if that. This team just won 1 game this year. And half of that team is about to hit the portal. Y'all really think he's going to flip that roster in 1 year? They might not. They might win 2 games next year. You said you hope they let him play. He's going to be starting. He's going to be starting next year. You got to worry about them letting him play. Fabian Lovett's gone, I think. Cooper's gone. That man's playing. He's definitely playing. Oh, you mean with the transfer rules? I think I think the waiver is going to happen if it hasn't already happened. So not really worried. Good night, guys. I mean, he supported us. When you say support, what do you mean? He's always supported Florida State verbally. Deion already tweeted he didn't think it would have been this difficult to get top end recruits just to visit. Oh, it's Colorado, of course. Of course. Of course. I that's the guy I want. I think you land him. Now you have a very solid linebacker class. Man, we're making moves, guys. And we'll spend the last few minutes of this because we're at the hour, almost at the hour 30 mark. So that's about the time we usually wrap these up. But we'll end it around this conversation. I'm gonna read a few more comments, and then I'm gonna have this conversation about just where I think Florida State's going in the upcoming weeks. Anthony says, "POLK, everybody was killing Deion for leaving, but man, I read about all that BS that was going on at JSU about the money and the money that came out of his pocket. Man, I would have been left." I have my thoughts on that, Anthony, and I do want to discuss that eventually, but I want to discuss that. I might discuss that this weekend because I want Terrence to be on here for that, because I have my own thoughts on that whole situation. And in short, no, I don't blame the man for taking the Colorado job, nor do I hate him, nor do I think he's a sellout or none of that. I only say this: words matter. When you say things, they should mean something. And when you put God into your calling and you do a lot of these other things and say a lot of things, you can understand people being upset about you leaving. When you move a certain way, when you convince a kid who was about to hit the portal and you convince a kid to say, oh, you don't hit the portal because you need to show that HBCUs can produce NFL talent. So why are you hitting the portal? And then the very next year, you have a whole different tune. A lot of hypocrisy, in my opinion. But then again, if you just take what Deion said as tongue-in-cheek, then that's another conversation to be had. Again, I have a lot of thoughts on it, but ultimately, I'm not upset. or mad. Terrence says, I'm about sick of y'all. Y'all need to keep Deion name out your mouth. We don't owe you bums a damn thing. The waiver in process as we speak. FSU brings Smart in the portal. The last time year we had like 4 guys already committed. Sorry, I'm here trying to fight somebody. How do you see Jackson, Mississippi? It's a mess over there with crime. I've never been there, never lived there. I mean, I get it, right? But anytime you're in a situation where there's impoverished people, yeah, crime rate probably gonna be a little higher, right? He's bringing his luggage, and it's Louis. Yeah, we'll see. That's right, bro. I don't know nothing. Just a light skinned dude on YouTube. No, I don't know a damn thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody would leave. 300K to 5 million, I would leave. Not gonna lie to you. I would leave. But champ, I just want to ask a hypothetical. And this is the last time I'm gonna talk about Deion on this. But hypothetically speaking, if I told you it ain't about money, this is God's calling. I'm here to actually make a difference. I'm here to uplift HBCUs. God told me to do this. And there's no way God told me that this was only going to be a 3-year process. At least that's my belief. Now, he didn't say that part. My belief is there's no way you're going to make a real difference in 3 years. But 3 years into your making a difference, God said, you know what? Yeah, we're done here. Let's go to Colorado. I mean, if you believe that, then that's fine. I just don't believe that. But anyway, I want to end on this. Be excited about what Florida State is doing. Be excited about the way we're moving. Okay? With the collectives coming out, with a lot of players coming back, a lot of great buzz around Florida State, man. You can't compare. Y'all really want to have this conversation, and I don't. But you can't compare LSU and the Dolphins to Jackson State. Saban said, "Oh, I'm here at the Dolphins to make a difference and change the community." No, he didn't say anything like that. Anyway, but just be excited about Florida State, man. I think we're moving in a good direction. I think we are in a healthy space. I want to see us close fairly well on recruiting. I think we're going to have a fairly good portal signing, and next year, man, you depending on who we get and who we add, man, we could be really telling some big time lies when it all boils down to it next year. But again, man, this conversation, we can finish this conversation next week or Friday or Saturday. Might do it Saturday. Most people that are mad would have did the same thing in his shoes. People are hypocrites. Well, you could argue that the man himself is a hypocrite, but again, that's a whole nother argument. HBCUs are going to be in the same position as when he got there. When he leaves, all that stuff goes away. Kim K just hopped in the portal and now is pursuing Sanders. Again, Lewis, you're kind of where I'm going with this, right? Again, that's a whole conversation that I want to have, because there's a lot of work that was left to be done there. But again, everybody gonna believe or have their own feelings on it, right? The bad part is you're hitting on another point. There's a lot of points that I wasn't gonna bring that up, but y'all all bringing up all the points. The man didn't even see his own son at a JSU. His son, whatever. His son transferred from USC to JSU for him, and he couldn't even let him graduate first. I mean, it is what it is. It's his child. He's allowed to do with his child and how he deems fit. He can't use the waiver for what? Well, NCAA is going to grant him what waiver? Maybe they will, because it's Deion Sanders. It's possible. Nobody would have said anything if Coach Prime. I'll tell you, and I'm gonna end on this in all seriousness, because y'all keep wanting to have this conversation. Nobody would have cared if Deion just would have went to JSU and been honest and said, "Yo, I'm here, and I'm gonna do my best while I'm here, and we gonna work our tails off, and we finna do what we got to do. We're gonna do what we got to do, but this isn't the final stop for me." That's not what was sold, though. That's all I'm saying. That's just not what was sold. That's not what was told. And I get all the money aspects of it. I get everything that was going on. I get it wasn't an ideal situation, but you said you didn't care about that. You said you didn't care, and you said you were here to make change. Last time I checked, you don't go into a situation and expect change to be easy and expect it to be a walk in the park. You had to know there would be trials and obstacles to overcome. That's just how I feel. If you feel differently, and then that's fine. For somebody who's really talking the talk, you don't go into a situation and say, "I'm here to make a real difference," and then complain about your trials and tribulations and then leave before the job was done. But that's me. And that's what I will end on. As always, man, is your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. I promise you I'm not going to read the comments because I'm not going to get in this debate with y'all, but we will do this on another show. I promise you that. We will have this conversation, but I'm not going to do it here. We're going to cut it off. As always, man, is your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, Seminoles, and we at ya. Go Noles.